Okay, so this is a remake, hopefully a better version of a piece I did a while ago called Clarifying Messages. So on the 6th of July in 2020, which, because as we hopefully emerge from the pandemic, Boris Johnson was in Yorkshire in Goole, and he was speaking off the record, which I imagine his minders must dread. And in the course of that day, he said this. I'm just going to read this to you. Or this is part of what he said. We discovered too many care homes didn't really follow the procedures in the way that they could have. But we're learning lessons the whole time. I mean, there was more of what he said, but that was kind of the essence of it. We've discovered too many care homes didn't really follow the procedures in the way that they could have, but we're learning lessons the whole time. So not surprisingly, this provoked quite a strong response from a lot of the media and people who worked in care homes in particular. And on that same day then we had a response from Downing Street. And this is what the response said, or part of it. What the Prime Minister was pointing out was that nobody knew what the correct procedures to put in place were at the time. Because the extent of asymptomatic transmission was not known. We are learning about this virus all the time. So bear in mind that last bit, we are learning about this virus all the time. So that seems to be quite interesting. So you could see that as a clarification. So certainly if you're on the political right, you probably see that as helpful. If you're on the political left, you probably see that as some sort of abject retreat, some sort of pitiful way to try and smooth over what he'd said. We're learning about this all the time. But I thought that's quite interesting, isn't it? So I like the idea of that there being some sort of system where, people can say stuff and then someone else pops up, and kind of corrects them. So, a spokesman for me might be saying things like, Chris Carpenter, to be honest, he's still learning about, global warming. He's still learning about how to sort that out. Or Chris Carpenter, he's still learning about how to prevent social inequality. But that also set me thinking about what might happen after some of the great speeches in the past. So had that happened, what might the response have been? So after Lincoln delivers the Gettysburg Address, for example, perhaps the White House would have said, what Mr. Lincoln was pointing out was that at the time of the Gettysburg Address, nobody knew the extent to which all men were actually created equal. We're still learning about the possibility for government of the people, by the people, for the people. I'm not sure how pleased Lincoln would have been to have such clarification, but it might have gone all right. Then I was thinking about Martin Luther King's speech. The I Had a Dream speech, so famous. So I don't know if he had a PR wing to his operation, Martin Luther King. But had he had, maybe it sounds something like this. What Mr. King was pointing out was that nobody knew what the correct procedures for organising for the sons of slaves to be able to sit with the sons of former slave owners, because nobody knew if there should ever be such a thing. We are learning about why we should aim for greater social equality all the time. So I don't know if that's what it might have sounded like. Had anyone thought it necessary to offer some sort of response to that one? But then I thought Churchill's famous speech in the Commons, the fight them on the beaches speech. So imagine he's done that speech, he comes out, and then a bit later that day, Downing Street puts out a message, and I think it'd be something like this. What the Prime Minister was pointing out was that nobody knew the correct procedures to put in place when faced by the might of the Nazi army, because the extent of their military power and the extent of their ambition for power was not known at the time. Do you know, we're learning about the propensities of Nazi hordes all the time. So it kind of might have gone like that. So, just sort of, by the way, I just thought, if any viewers, assuming that I have some viewers, if you feel that this set I've just done lacked any comedic value, I will ask the compare, my imaginary compare, to issue a statement a bit later. And it's going to announce something like this. We've discovered Chris's performance didn't follow accepted comedic procedures in the way that he could have. Nobody knew the extent of his ineptitude, but he's learning all the time.